press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children. So we are going to see in this class the new history lesson, that is tracing changes through 1,000 years. So tracing the changes, from 1,000 years, beyond the 1,000 years, from years ago, there were some kind of changes. From that age till now, there are changes in the habitat or the living life. Everything has changed from 1,000 years till now. So we are going to see what are the changes happened beyond the 1,000 years till now in this lesson. So we are going to see a different kind of changes that have took place from that age to till now. Here Al-Idrisi, he is an Arab geographer. He has given a maps. You can see those maps in your textbooks, okay? So those in that maps, he written about the Indian subcontinent. He has shown about the Indian subcontinent. Al-Idrisi, he is an Arab geographer. Next, cartographer. Cartographer, it is a person who makes a map. Cartographer means a person who makes a map. So this is Al-Idrisi, and another one cartographer, the person who makes the map. They have given us two maps. In that they have mentioned about the Indian subcontinents. Now, okay, Al-Idrisi map, South India is where we would expect to find North India, and the Sri Lanka is the island at the top. So, one cartographer and Al-Idrisi, these two have made the two map. He also made a map, that is map 1, and this cartographer also made a map, that is map 2. So there are two people, Al-Idrisi and the cartographer. Okay, so Al-Idrisi made a map 1, and cartographer, that who makes the map, he is another person. He also made a map 2. So we are going to compare the map, both the maps. In Al-Idrisi map, now wherever I say about the map 1, you should know that this is written by the Al-Idrisi. Then map 2, that is written by a cartographer. So in map 1, what Al-Idrisi said is, South India is where we would expect to find the North India. So Al-Idrisi shown South India at the place of North India place, and he shown Sri Lanka at the top. But you see in map, so this is the India, this is India, this is Sri Lanka. So we are seeing Sri Lanka on the downside, that is on the bottom side. But in Al-Idrisi's map, Sri Lanka can be seen at the topper side, and the South India, it is represented at the North India place. So he mistook the places of the India. So that is about the Al-Idrisi map. So in map 1, that is Al-Idrisi map, South India is shown at the North India place, and the Sri Lanka is shown at the topper portion. ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವಿವಾಗ ಟ್ರೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ದ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ 1000 ಇಯರ್ಸ್. ನಾವು 1000 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಏನೇನು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ಆಲಿದ್ರಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಮ್ಯಾಪು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದೊಬ್ಬ ಕಾರ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್. ಕಾರ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಫರ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ನ ಮಾಡೋರು. ಆ ಆಲಿದ್ರಿಸಿ ಮ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾದ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಶ್ರೀಲಂಕಾನ ಟಾಪ್ ಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಆಲಿದ್ರಿಸಿ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ನೇಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅರೇಬಿಕ್. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದೆನ್ ದ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ ನೇಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಆಲಿದ್ರಿಸಿ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ they were marked in a Arabic language, and there are some well-known names like Kanaj in Uttar Pradesh, spelled in map as Kanaj. Okay, so there is a comparison between the map 1 and the map 2. In map 1 it is written by Al-Idrisi, and here he has shown North India as a South India and Sri Lanka on top, and the names are in Arabic. Okay, so the names, whatever the places names, they are in Arabic. Next, in map 2 was made nearly 600 years after the map 1. That map 2, which is made by a cartographer, that was made after 600 years of doing this map 1. Map 1 ಮಾಡಾಗಿ 600 years ಆದಮೇಲೆ map 2ನ another cartographer ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. map 1ಅನ್ನು ಆಲ್ ಇದ್ರಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅವನೇನು ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಮ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಶ್ರೀಲಂಕಾ ಟಾಪ್ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ ಅರೇಬಿಕ್ ವರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ 2ನ ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ 1 ಮಾಡಿ 600 ವರ್ಷ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ 2ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ಓಕೆ, ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಸಬ್ಕಾಂಟಿನೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ಡ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರಬಲಿ. ಸೊ about the Indian subcontinent at the time where the map 2 was going on, at that time the Indian subcontinent had many changes. This map seems more familiar to us, and the coastal areas in particular are surprisingly detailed. This map was used by the European sailors and merchants on their voyages. So this map is accurate, somewhat accurate, and the seas and the water bodies, they were in a coastal areas, they are in a detailed coastal areas. So compared to a map 1 which is prepared by Al-Idrisi, map 2 is better one, and which is prepared after 600 years of preparing a map 1. And this map 2 has a detailed coastal areas, and that is reliable to read. And that second map was used by European sailors and the merchants on their voyages. So this was used by the European sailors, the one who travel in a water bodies, and the merchants. Okay, so map 1 is prepared by Al-Idrisi, and in that he has shown that North India place as a South India and Sri Lanka is located on a top, and also all the places in a Al-Idrisi map, that is map 1, they are in a Arabic word. In map 2, which is made by another cartographer, that is somewhat accurate, that is reliable to us, and it has a detailed coastal areas, and European sailors and the merchants all use the map 2. Next, Equally important is the fact that the science of cartography differed in two periods. So, map 1 was, the difference between the map 1 and the map 2 was 600 years. So, some period to period the changes have occurred and there are some differences in making the map from one period to another period. ಏನಾಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಎರಡು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ 1 ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ 2ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದು ಅವುಗಳೆರಡರಲ್ಲೂ 600 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಪನ್ನ 600 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಪು 600 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಆ ಏಜಿಂದ ಈ ಏಜ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ತುಂಬ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಸಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇವ್ರು ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಸಿ ಡಿಫರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಪೀರಿಯಡಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅನ್ನೋ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. When historians read document, maps and the text from the past, they have to be sensitive to the different historical backgrounds, the context in which the information about the past was produced. So, if we want to read anything about the history, we should first know about when that thing was written. After looking into that, we should read the exact thing. Okay. If we read about the Al-Idrisi map, we will get a wrong information, and if we read about the cartographer map, we will get a somewhat right information. Like that, we should be sensible while reading any map or any texts. New and the old terminologies. If the context in which information is produced changes with time, what about the language and the meaning? Okay, so from time to time what happened? The context or the information changes. You can see from Al-Idrisi map there were information that is South India is located at the place of North India and Sri Lanka is on top, and after some period, after a 600 years, the opposite thing happened. So there is a changes in a information from time to time. If there is a changes in a information from time to time, then what about the languages? Languages do changes, right? So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಒನ್ ಟೈಮಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಟೈಮ್ಗೆ ಆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಈಗ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ Al-Idrisi ಮ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂಥರ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾರ್ಟೋಗ್ರಾಫರು ಅದ್ರ ಉಲ್ಟಾ, ಅಂದರೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರು, ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇರೋ ಕೂಡ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕೋಸ್ಟಲ್ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅವೆರಡು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ನಡುವೆ 600 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಆ 600 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲೇ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Historical records exist in a variety of languages which have changed considerably over the years. So all the historical records, history means study of the past. So whatever the records which are present about the history, that is historical records, they are written in many languages. Medieval Persian, for example, is different from the modern Persian. So the languages do changes in the record, that is history record, from time to time. So the medieval Persian is different from the modern Persian. The difference is not just with regard to a grammar and the vocabulary, the meanings of the words also change over the time. So over the time period, languages also changes, and also the grammatical mistakes, not only the grammatical mistakes but also the meanings also changes from time to time. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಆಗಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಮಿಡಿವಲ್ ಪರ್ಷನ್ಗಿಂತ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಪರ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಟೈಮ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಆಗಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಮಿಡಿವಲ್ ಪರ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಗ್ರಾಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಪರ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಬರೀ ಗ್ರಾಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲದೇನೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಮಿಡಿವಲ್ ಪರ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ದು, ಆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ಸು ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಪರ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಂದು ಟೈಮಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ನ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗೋದಲ್ಲದೆ ಅದರ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಬರೀ ಗ್ರಾಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಅದರ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, today we understand it as India, the modern nation state. When the term was used in the 13th century by Minhaj Siraj, the chronicler who wrote in Persian, he meant the areas for Punjab, Haryana and the lands between the Ganga and the Yamuna. He used the term in a political sense for lands that were a part of the domains of the Delhi Sultan. The areas included in this term shifted with the extent of the Sultanate, but the term never included the South India. By contrast, in the early 6th century, Babur used the Hindustan to describe the geography, fauna and the culture of inhabitants of a subcontinent. As we will see later in the chapter, this was somewhat similar to the way the 14th century poem Amir Khusro used the word Hindi, while the idea of geographical and the cultural entity like India did exist. The term Hindustan did not carry the political and the national meanings which we associate with it today. So, what they have given, from time to time the word meanings also changes, the language also changes. How the word meaning changes? For example, you take a word Hindustan. Word Hindustan. So this word Hindustan was first used by, that is Hindustan, which we call India nowadays. It was used first by a 13th century by Minhaj Siraj. So, this Hindustan word, it was used at 13th century. It was used at the 13th century by Minhaj Siraj. Hindustan word used at the 13th century by Minhaj Siraj. What he referred to a Hindustan. Okay. He was a chronicler who wrote in a Persian. He meant areas of Punjab, Haryana and the lands between Ganga and Yamuna. So, according to Minhaj, in 13th century, Hindustan means the Punjab, areas between Ganga and Brahmaputra and the Haryana. Land between Ganga and Brahmaputra. Can you see this? Ganga and Brahmaputra. Okay. Hindustan, this word, now we call it as India, this word used by Minhaj Siraj in 13th century, which means he referred this Hindustan to a places, Punjab, that is Haryana, and the land between the Ganga and Brahmaputra. For these areas, he used the word Hindustan. Okay, Minhaj I Siraj in 13th century, he used the word Hindustan for these areas. Understood? Okay, now later on, this Hindustan were used by different rajas or the different people with a different meaning. How does this Hindustan changed? We'll see here. He used the term in the political sense for a land that were part of domains of the Delhi Sultan. So, ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ 13th ಸೆಂಚುರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿನಾಜ್ ಐ ಸಿರಾಜ್ ಅನ್ನೋನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ದ, ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡನ್ನು ಈ ಪಂಜಾಬ್, ಹರಿಯಾಣ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗಂಗಾ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಪುತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟ? ಅವನು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್ನ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡನ್ನ ಅವನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ, ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಗೆ ಅವನು ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಅಂತ ವರ್ಡ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ. The areas included in this term shifted with the extent of Sultanate, but the term never included the South India. Okay, so after some of the areas added to this Hindustan word as well. Next, by contrast, in the early 6th, but there was no South India. ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಏರಿಯಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅದೇ ಪಂಜಾಬ್, ಹರಿಯಾಣ, ಗಂಗಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಪುತ್ರ ಏರಿಯಾ, ಇದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಏರಿಯಾಸು ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಸೌತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾನ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್. By contrast, in the early 16th century, now 16th century, Babur used Hindustan to describe the geography and the fauna and the culture of the inhabitants of a subcontinent. As we will see later in chapter, this was somewhat similar to the way the 14th century poet Amir Khusru used the word Hindi. While the idea of the geographical and the cultural entity like India did exist. So, in 13th century, Minhaj I Siraj, he used the word Hindustan to refer the northern states. Okay, but at the 16th century, Babur used this word Hindustan. Babur used this word Hindustan to represent the geography or the geographical features and also fauna and the culture of that area. So, to refer the geographical features, fauna and the culture of that area, Babur used the word Hindustan. So, from 13th century to 16th century, the word meaning has changed. In 13th century, the word referred to some political areas. But now, in the 16th century, Hindustan, it was referred to a geographical area and the fauna and the culture of a subcontinent, that is Indian subcontinent. And this was supported by a poet. He used the first Hindi word in his poem, that is Amir Khusru. He is the poet. He used this word Hindi in his poem. After that, India existed. Now, the term Hindustan did not carry a political and the national meanings which we associate with it today. So, the meaning of a Hindustan changed. At the 13th century, it was to represent the political areas, and at the 16th century, it was to represent the fauna, geographical features and the culture of our Indian subcontinent. Now, as the time changed, the meaning of a word also changed. This is what they want to say. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟೈಮ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡು, ಈ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡನ್ನ 13th ಸೆಂಚುರಿಲಿ ಮಿನಜ್ ಐಸಾಯಿನೋನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾರ್ತನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಪಂಜಾಬ್, ಹರಿಯಾಣ ಮತ್ತು ಗಂಗಾ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಪುತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ. ಅದನ್ನೇ 16th ಸೆಂಚುರಿಲಿ ಬಾಬರ್ ಆ ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ, ಅದ್ರ ಫಾನಾ ಮತ್ತು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ಸ್ನ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ವರ್ಡ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ದ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಟೈಮಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ವರ್ಡ್ದು ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Historians today have to be careful about the terms they use because they meant different things in the past. Take for example a simple term like a foreigner. It is used today to mean someone who is not an Indian. In the medieval period, a foreigner was any stranger who appeared, say, in a given village. Someone who was not a part of that society or a culture. In Hindi, the term Pardesi might be used to describe such a person, and in Persian, Ajnabi. Okay, a city dweller therefore might have regard a forest dweller as a foreigner. But two peasants living in the same village were not foreigners to each other, even though they may have had different religious or a caste backgrounds. So, historians, while writing any text or reading anything, they should be careful because each word has different meaning from time to time. For example, Hindustan and also a foreigner. Word foreigner. So, this word foreigner, which means nowadays this word foreigner means the one who is not from India, the one who came from abroad, right? So we tell foreigner means the one who came from abroad, that is who is not from India. But at the medieval time, the foreigner meaning was something different. At that time, foreigner means the one who is out of our village, who is newborn to our village. Okay, so ಏನಂದರೆ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅವರು ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರೀಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ಲಾಗಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ಗೂ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ಫಾರಿನರ್. ಈ ಫಾರಿನರ್ನ ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಏನಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಬ್ರಾಡಿಂದ ಯಾವುದೋ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಆಗಿರೋರನ್ನ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಆದರೆ ಮಿಡಿವಲ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಿದ್ರು ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಗುಂಪು, ಒಂದು ವಿಲೇಜ್, ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಬಂದ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನು ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಬೇರೆ ಎರಡು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅವರು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಯಾರನ್ನೂ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ವಿಲೇಜ್ ಇದೆ, ಆ ವಿಲೇಜ್ಗೆ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪಕ್ಕದ ವಿಲೇಜಿಂದ ಬಂದ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವನನ್ನ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಪಕ್ಕದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋನು ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಸಿಟಿಲಿ ಇದ್ದ ಅಂದರೆ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡ್ವೆಲ್ಲರ್, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಫಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಲೇಜ್ಗೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ಹೊಸ್ದಾಗಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಅವ್ನು ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಗೆ ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತಿದ್ರು, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದಿರೋನ್ಗೆ. ಬಟ್ ನವಡೇಸ್ ಏನೋ ಅದು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಹೊಂದಿದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಬಂದವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಫಾರಿನರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ದು ಮೀನಿಂಗು ಒಂದು ಪೀರಿಯಡಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ಗೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹಿಸ್ಟೋರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ನಾವುಗಳು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿ ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಓದಬೇಕು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, historians and their sources. Historians use different types of sources to learn about the past depending upon the period of their study and the nature of their investigation. Last year, for example, you read about the rulers of Gupta dynasty and Harshavardhana. In this book, you will read about the following 1000 years from roughly 700 to 7050. You will notice some continuity in the sources used by historians for the study of this period. They still rely on the coins, inscriptions, architecture and the textual records for the information. But there is also considerable discontinuity. The number and the variety of textual records increased dramatically during this period. They slowly displaced other types of available information. Through this period, paper gradually became cheaper and more widely available. People used it to write holy texts, chronicles of rulers, letters and the teachings of saints, petitions and the judicial records, and for the registers of accounts and the taxes. Manuscripts were collected by wealthy people, rulers, monasteries and the temples. They were placed in the libraries and the archives. These manuscripts and the documents provide a lot of detailed information to historians, but they are also difficult to use. Okay, so what happened? Historians and their sources. So, to write about the past, to write about the history, we want something. We want some kind of sources. In the previous year, some of the historians, they were writing about the past based on sources like coins and some inscriptions, architecture and textual records. But after some period, all started to write on a paper because paper became very cheap at that time. Okay, so it became very cheaper. So that is why people started to write, and they written everything like judicial records and the teachings of the saints and about the rulers and the letters. Everything they have written on a sheet of paper because the paper became a cheaper one, and they kept in libraries and the archives. What is archives? A place where documents and the manuscripts are stored. Today all the national and the state governments have archives where they keep all their old official records and the transaction. So it is like a library where documents and the manuscripts are stored. So archives. Okay, so archives means a place where documents and the manuscripts stored. So what happened? Historians at the so many years ago, what they were doing? They were writing about the past depending upon the information available on the coins, architecture and some other stupas, etc. After that, all historians started to write the information on a sheet of paper, and because the paper become cheaper, and they wrote in everything, the chronicles about the rulers and records, everything they wrote on a sheet of paper, and they put them in a libraries and the archive. Archive means a place where documents and the manuscripts were placed. Okay. There was no printing press in those days, so scribes copied manuscripts by hands. So there was no printing machine and they used to copy the manuscripts by hand. If you have ever copied a friend's homework, you would know that this is not a simple exercise. Sometimes you cannot read your friend's handwriting and are forced to guess what is written. As a result, there are small but significant differences in your copy of your friend's work. Manuscript copying is somewhat similar. As scribes copied manuscripts, they also introduced small changes, a word here, a sentence there. These small differences grew over the centuries of copying until the manuscripts of the same text became substantially different from one to another. This is a serious problem because we rarely find the original manuscript of the author today. We are totally dependent upon the copies made by later scribes. As a result, historians have to read different manuscript versions of the same text to guess what the author had originally written. On occasion, authors revise their chronicles at different times. The 14th century chronicler Ziauddin Barani wrote his chronicle first in 1356 and another version 2 years later. The two different from each other, but historians did not know about the existence of the first version until the 1960s. It remained lost in a large library collections. So what happened? So some of the scholars or the scribe, they started to copy the manuscripts which were written by authors at the more medieval periods. Okay, so they started to copy the manuscripts which were written at the old ages. Okay, while copying, some of them were some of the handwritings were not clear, so there was no printing machine, that's why they need to copy. That is why some of the word changes, some of the sentence changes has happened. So till now there is no clear original manuscripts written by a author, because the scribes, they have copied it and they have made some of the changes. That is why we didn't get any original manuscripts. Okay, so this is what happened in the recent years. ಏನಾಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿಸ್ಟೋರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆವಾಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ತೂಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಕಿಟೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಅವರು ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪೇಪರ್ ಚೀಪ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಅವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವರು ಆ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಪೇಪರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರು ಮಾನುಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟು ಹೋದರು ಆ ಆಥರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತಲ್ವ, ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು. ಅವ್ರೀಗ ಮಾನುಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಹಳೇದಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಹೊಸದನ್ನು ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದರು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡೋದಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇದೆ, ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವೇ ನಮ್ದು ವರ್ಡ್ನ ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಕೋತೀವಿ. ಅದಲ್ದೇ ಮತ್ತೇನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಆ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾನುಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಇತ್ತಲ್ವ ಅದು ಅವೈಲಬಲ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಸ್ಕಾಲರ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಬರೆದಿರೋ ನಮಗೆ ಬುಕ್ಸು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ರೈಟರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ದ, ಜಿಯಾವುದ್ದೀನ್ ಬರಾನಿ ಅಂತನು ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಾನಿಕಲ್ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದ. ಅವನು ಫಸ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಅಂದರೆ 1356 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅವನು ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಅದಾಗಿ 2 ವರ್ಷ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅವನೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ರೀರೈಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೂ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಷನ್ಗಿನ್ನ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ವರ್ಷನ್ ತುಂಬ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ಆ ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ನ್ಯೂ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್. ಸೊ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟು ಟೈಮ್ the records were also changed and the meaning of the word also changed. So from time to time more of the changes happening, more number of changes are happening. New social and the political group. A study of 1,000 years between 700 and the 1750 is a huge challenge to historians, largely because of a scale and the variety of developments that occurred over the period. At different moments in this period, new technologies made their appearances, like the Persian wheel in irrigation. So, what happened from 700 to from 700 to 1750, this period was to study about this period, it was somewhat difficult. Why it was difficult? Because at this period so many developments has happened. Example, wheel in irrigation, that is a Persian wheel in irrigation, that is one of the innovation happened in that period. Like that, so many developments had happened. So because of so many developments, it is somewhat difficult to study about that period. Next, the spinning wheel in weaving, that is the wheel in irrigation and the spinning wheel in weaving and the fumes in a combat. So these are all the new innovations happened in this 700 to 1750 era. New foods and the beverages arrived in the subcontinent. Potatoes, corn, chilies, tea and the coffee. Okay, so at this period to our subcontinent, that is Indian subcontinent, new foods also arose like the potatoes, corn, chilies and the tea, coffee, etc. Remember that all these innovations, new technologies and the crops came along with the people who brought their ideas with them as well. As a result, this was a period of economic, political and the social and the cultural changes. So, this period is known as the period of social, economical and the cultural political changes period, because at this period so many developments happened and also new foods arrived to a subcontinent with the new people and they know how to grow that food. Okay. So, this period is known as the period of political, social, cultural changes. Okay. So, at this period, so many developments happened and new foods arrived and also people too arrived. So, that is why this period is known as a period of social, cultural, political and the economical changes period. This was also a period of great mobility. Group of people traveled longer distances in search of opportunity. The subcontinent held immense wealth and the possibilities for people to carve a fortune. So, this period, this is also known as the period of mobility. Why this period is known as the period of mobility? Because at this period, people started to move in a group from one place to another place. That is why this period is also known as the period of mobility. ಏನಾಯಿತು ಈ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಬಂತು. ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಬಂತು? ಈ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆದವು. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ವೀಲ್ ಇನ್ ಇರಿಗೇಷನ್, ಪರ್ಷಿಯನ್ ವೀಲ್ ಇನ್ ಇರಿಗೇಷನ್ ಈ ರೀತಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪಿನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ವೀಲ್ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಇನೋವೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದವು, ತುಂಬ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದವು. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನ್ಯೂ ಫುಡ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಬಂದವು. ಆ ಫುಡ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನ್ಯೂ ಜನನೂ ಕೂಡ ಬಂದರು. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮೊಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ವಾ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ನ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಚೇಂಜಸ್, ಮೊಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ನೋಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್, ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್, ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಈ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ತುಂಬ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಸಬ್ಕಾಂಟಿನೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲ್ತ್. One group of people who became important in this period were the Rajputs, a name derived from a Rajaputra, the son of a ruler. Between the 8th and the 14th century, the term was applied more generally to a group of warriors who claimed Kshatriya caste system. The term included not just rulers, chieftains, but also soldiers and the commanders who served in the armies of different monarchs all over the subcontinent. So, what happened at this period? There were a famous people, that is Rajput. This word is derived from the word Rajaputra. That means son of Raja. ಸೊ ಈ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ರಜಪೂತ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪೀಪಲ್ದು ಹೆಸರು ತುಂಬ ಕೇಳಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಜಪುತ್ರ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಜರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಸೊ ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರ್ತಾ, ಅಂದರೆ 13 ಮತ್ತು 16th ಸೆಂಚುರಿಲಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಈ ರಜಪೂತ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡು ಬರೀ ರಾಜರ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಸೋಲ್ಜರ್ಸು, ಆರ್ಮೀಸು, ಕಮಾಂಡರ್ಸು, ರೂಲರ್ಸು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅದು ಜನರಲೈಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. Chivalric code of conduct, extreme valor and the great sense of loyalty were the qualities attributed to a Rajput by the poets and the bards. So what are the qualities of a Rajputs? Extreme valor and the great sense of loyalty. So these Rajputs were having a great sense of loyalty and they were very good people. Next, the other group of people such as Marathas, Sikhs, Jats and Ahoms and the Kshatriyas, a caste of scribes and the secretaries, also used the opportunity to the age to become a politically important. With this Rajput, Marathas, Jats and the Sikhs and Ahoms and Kayasthas also became a politically important people. So this is about the thing. So we have learned so many things, how from time to time, how the words meaning changed, how the source of history changes, everything we have learned. We'll see the rest portion in the next class. Thank you.